Hi. Yes, I guess so.
First of all, happy Valentine's Day. Love is in the air, especially beautiful dress.
Oh, thanks, Matt.
My name is Matt Haynes. I'm the owner of the Twisted Track Gallery. We've been here for 5 years now, and it's all to the hard work of some great curators. First of all, Cynthia Liu and Stephen Liu. They can say hello. There they are hiding behind the crowd. And then also curating this show is Nisa Hayden. So I'm going to turn it over to Nisa. Thank you very much for coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. And thank you so much to Kim Squaglia, whose beautiful work is gracing the walls this month. She hasn't had a show here in quite a while, and we're so thrilled and delighted. And she worked really hard, and I think you can see that. So she's going to talk a little bit about her process and her art. Kim.
Hi, everybody. I have notes there just in case I need them. First, I just want to say thanks to Matt Haynes. Since I worked for him at 33rd Street Bistro, he's always been a champion of art. He's always had to try to have a gallery, and it's very hard business in Sacramento to have a gallery. So thank you for employing so many artists at your restaurants, and for running this gallery, and also employing your wonderful people here. Nisa, thank you very much. Nisa is incredibly patient and intuitive. I was supposed to have this show in December, and she called me in November and said, "Do you need a few more months?" And I said, "Yes, I do." So that's why we're here now. Cynthia and Stephen also, thank you very much for their help with everything and installing. I wrote a couple notes, but I figured I knew I would probably know most of you, and I just thought I would kind of wing it. Once you turn 50, you kind of don't care as much what people think. So I just thought I'd kind of start with my art trajectory. So I'll try to keep it short too. Okay, so I grew up in East Sacramento, born and raised here. Went to Caleb Greenwood, St. Mary's, Kit Carson, Sacramento High School. I was in the VAPAC program there, which is the Visual and Performing Arts, and we had some really incredible art teachers in Sac Unified back then that really encouraged you. And I was really lucky to have some wonderful peers to work with. And so I actually went into college as an art major at Chico State. Had some great teachers there, but I was also kind of a wanderlust a little bit. Followed a couple boyfriends here and there. Went to Seattle, went to San Francisco. Just kind of explored and liked to live in different cities. And then I decided to get my Bachelor of Fine Arts, which meant I could go to grad school. So I came back to Chico, worked with a professor there named James Kuiper, who had lots of connections in San Antonio. And he encouraged me to apply to school in Texas, which I did, and ended up going to University of Texas, San Antonio, which was kind of this like under the radar, amazing school, amazing community. And if one thing about Texas that is kind of, you wouldn't think is, they are really amazing to their artists, and they are the artist and patron community in Texas is absolutely incredible. All of the parties have like all the wealthy people and all the poor artists, and they all hang out together. Nobody talks about politics. This was a long time ago. I don't know if it's like this anymore, but it was just really wonderful. So I hope that we do have a new director of the Crocker. I absolutely adore our Lyle Jones, has been our director for many years. She's made the Crocker amazing. It's also nice to have somebody that's coming from Texas who's going to bring what they have here, because I think having that connection for artists here will be amazing. The patrons and the artists need to get connected more. The artists need to be connected more. So we're all kind of operating by ourselves here, and lucky when we do get connections. So anyways, so I got really lucky out of grad school. It was kind of a booming time in the economy. I was hooked up with a gallery called Fine Silver in San Antonio, and it was like an absolute dream. They gave me a huge studio. They made my panels. They just kept saying, like, just keep making paintings, and they would sell them. And they were taking me to Art Basel and White Cube Gallery in London. Like, it was like unbelievable. And then the recession hit, and all of their galleries closed, and everything kind of shuttered up. So I started working I worked for an amazing floral designer. I did some design work myself. My husband and I were living I moved to Brooklyn to live with him, did the New York artist thing, which was talk about small fish in a small pond. And then we lived in Cape Cod for a while, but when we got married, decided to have kids, there was no question where we were coming home to. And luckily, my husband's a huge fan of Sacramento. I felt kind of guilty at the time, like, oh, I'm moving this East Coast guy to Sacramento, and like, how happy are you that you live here? You know, being an artist in Sacramento isn't the easiest thing. I thought, oh, I'm going to go there and I'm going to make a living and it's going to be great. And I was really lucky. I was picked up by JJ Gallery, Beth Jones and Linda Jolly. And can I have that drink? Sorry. So I had some shows at JJ. This was like 2000, you know, it was 2003 to 10. And then, you know, I met this guy named Tim Collum, and we were friends through art, but, you know, yeah, because he's nobody. And we became good friends. And I was very lucky that I also had a sister-in-law who encouraged me to get my real estate license. And so it wasn't financially viable for me to raise children and be an artist in Sacramento. So that was something that I kind of had to give up. And I thought that I was selling my soul and doing this real estate thing. When it turns out I kind of love that too. So I'm very lucky. And so since then, I've only done like group shows and things like that. And I haven't really had a solo show. So this is my first show that I've worked on for 2 years. And I'm just really happy that you're all here to see it and just celebrate with me that it's over with, that I can get back to work and not stay up till 1 a.m. But I wrote something in my statement that I think made sense to me, which was because I think a lot of people are afraid of art sometimes because they want to, like, oh, what does it mean? And I don't think you look at my work and go like, it's like there's a big, like, it's pretty and it's supposed to give you joy and you know, if it makes you think of something or remind you of something, like, that's wonderful. But I feel like it's, for me, it just kind of comes out of me. It's like if I was lucky enough to be a musician, it's like making music and the meaning comes after, or whatever I attach to it. So, you know, the titles and everything are like the lyrics. So as I was finishing all these works together, I started thinking like, well, what am I going to name the show? And this word native kept coming up. I'm a native. I'm born and raised here. My grandparents are from Italy, but they lived in the Delta. My dad was born in Cortland, California. My mom's from West Sacramento. I was born at Mercy Hospital. My grandma was director of nurses. Like, I'm a Sacramentan, and having the job that I have really makes you kind of an ambassador to our city. And over the last 10 years of doing this job, or 12 years of doing this real estate job, I've realized what a special place that we live in. And, you know, I know we're kind of the underdog, and well, you know, especially right now with the Kings and everything. We'll get there. But it was funny because we had a friend come visit us he's kind of a world traveler. He owns a hotel. He's this amazing guy. And one weekend he's like, I just got to get away. I'm coming to visit you. And he came for the weekend, and showed up at our house. And first of all, he was like, oh my God, there's so many trees here. And then we took him to the second Saturday, or not second Saturday, sorry, what did we take him to? The Saturday market. No, we took him to the Torch Club first. And then we took him to the Saturday farmer's market. And then, just took him on the boat. And he was just like, he called all Todd's friends and said, the next guys weekend that we have is going to be in Sacramento. And we're kind of this untapped treasure. So I started really dipping into Sacramento as I was coming up with this title. And a lot of the people, I've always been inspired by Wayne Thiebaud. He's just the best painter that I think there ever was, and like such a humble person. I got to meet him a number of times. I have a photo of me holding one of my paintings, and he's asking me how I made it, and I'm like bawling. So, but you know, we have so many incredible people that come from here. We're just kind of these under the radar people, and so I have pieces called Wayne T, Joan D for Joan Didion. Obviously, I could never read her books or understand them, but then I started listening to them, and I finally got the rhythm of her. This piece over here is called Michael B. It's for Michael Bishop. He's recently passed away. He was a professor of mine at Chico. He is responsible for the water tower in ESAC, the neon on there. He was an incredible artist. And the piece over there is called Cake. And that is when I was a senior in high school, I was lucky enough to know some of the original members of the band Cake. They were called Saturday's Child, and they played in my class. And it was kind of the first time I'd ever seen live music as a senior in high school, and really realized what a high, amazing art form that was. And we recently lost Greg Brown, who was in my class last week. He was a lead guitarist. So cheers to Greg. And okay. Yes, Kathy.
I was mad I'm asking a question.
No, please. Thank you.
Where did you come up with the idea of doing the resin? Was it just something you learned?
No, I was trying to do, so there, I don't know if, I know the Belisarius will know what this is, but encaustic is an art form that is like wax with oil paint mixed. And I was trying to do it, and it's impossible. Don't you guys think it's impossible to do? So I had this professor at grad school, and he was like, hey, have you ever used that stuff at Home Depot that you put on like countertops? And so I went down to Home Depot and I bought it, and it's like, you know, it totally turns yellow the next day. But and I was immediately addicted. So I'm actually trying to do more of this, which is canvas, and less of this, because it's really labor intensive, and it's, you know, it might be killing me. I don't know, but I do wear a mask, and but yeah. So that's kind of where that process came from. It's done on panel. They're done flat. I work on usually, 10 pieces at a time. Some of they obviously it looks like 20 different people made the paintings in here, but they just all kind of come from different inspirations. Like the ones back here, these are from photograms that I did, or cyanotypes of when I go on a walk on the river, I'll find things, and I make these kind of sun prints of these. So that's what those are. Those are actually eucalyptus berries, which aren't native, but I'm just kind of pretending that they are. I don't know where these come from. Those are from something else. And then the butterflies are new. So those are something new for me. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Who do you listen to when you work? Music, podcasts, or?
Okay, you ready? I listen to lots of stuff. I listen to, one of my favorite things to listen to, well, I was listening to way too much NPR, so I had to stop because it was making me really bummed out, especially lately. So I started, while I was making this show, especially the last 6 months, I started bringing my iPad out to the studio, and every night, because I would work mainly like about 9 to 1, And I just started with Dave Chappelle's first stand-up. I listened to the whole thing, and then I just started whatever that would feed me. So I just started listening to stand-up. So before I went to bed every night, so during the day I'd listen to news and be like, everything's horrible. And then I'd go to bed just like in a great mood, just after listening to that. I love this show called All Songs Considered on NPR, and I get so much new music from that. So then I get all the new music from that, and then I go and listen to all the new music. I love Smartless too. You guys listen to Smartless? It's really good. We're old. I'm old. So yeah. So that's a great question though. Thank you for asking that. Lots of Led Zeppelin. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Lisa.